Look how good these turned out. Long Bed Larry is officially going to ride like a Cadillac. Welcome back to the Decent Garage. Last video we got our 64-inch Chevy rear springs for Long Bed Larry. In today's video we're going to get them completely installed. Long Bed Larry is a truck we picked up a year ago from Boise, Idaho. It's a long bed crew cab first gen Cummins with a 12 valve P-pump, 5-speed, 4-wheel drive chassis, and we're building it on the channel. So I got the rear springs re-arched at a local spring shop. It used to be called Best Steel Springs, now it's Fleet Guard. They got bought out, but 250 bucks. They added 4 inches of lift to it, which means they also added an extra leaf in there so it doesn't sag down. So these are ready to go. Got the bed taken off. Let's get the old leaves taken out and put these new ones in. Alright, so we have our springs off. We've got to get the hangers off now. Alright, so the first step is to drill at least an X in the head of the rivet. If I've got access to it, like these upper ones, got really good access, I'm going to do an X and then do as many more lines in it as I can just to weaken the head. Then get your air hammer with the spade bit on it. There she goes. On these ones I did the star pattern. On these ones they're much harder to get to, but I found a really good technique that works. So what I do is I cut a bunch of vertical slits in the head of the rivet, 4 at least, and then I just chisel perpendicular to the slits and it comes right off. Alright guys, we got all the spring hangers off. So I need to clean the frame up where these brackets were hanging. I need to clean the brackets up, the rear ones that we have that we're going to reuse. But it is late. I gotta get inside, go play with the kids, spend some time with the wife. So I will see you guys back here tomorrow. Here are the Archive Garage front leaf spring hanger brackets. We're going to take these out in just a minute, but something else that comes with this kit is this template. Nice solid template. So let me show you where this goes. So this is going to line up, use those 2 front holes, and we're going to have to cut this bracket right here, drill that rivet out, and then we're going to use that hole as well, and then we'll have to drill 2 new holes back here. So I'm going to mark where I need to cut that bracket at. I'll cut the bracket on both sides, drill that rivet out, and then we're going to prep the frame so we can mount our brackets back up. Alright, the frame is all cleaned up, so I'm going to mask it off a little bit, paint over that. Got everything painted up, looking good. Now, in order to get the bracket to fit on here, we've got this parking brake bracket here. Because I have a 6-inch frame in the rear, Archive Garage sells a relocation kit for this. So I'm going to take this bracket off. I've ordered that relocation kit, but that'll give us room for the new bracket. Here is the bracket. This thing is heavy duty. Now they also send all the hardware with it as well. Looks like even the bolts for the eyes on the spring, so they send everything. Now they don't send the hardware to rehang the rear hanger, but that is an option. You can order that extra as well. But this all comes in the kit. Both of the front hangers, the template, and the hardware for it. Also, if you want to support the channel and get yourself some cool merch, go to decentgarage.com. There's a ton of stuff, and all the proceeds go to helping fund these cool projects. So what we need to do, we need to bolt this template up, and then we're going to have to drill a few more holes, and then we'll be able to bolt the hanger back in there. Wow guys, I just opened the bag of hardware, and this even comes with the bolts to mount the template up and the drill bits to drill the new holes. Pretty cool. They thought of everything with this. All right, we've got our template. I put tape here so that this doesn't scratch the new paint I put on. So it looks like the hole where the rivet was is a little small, so I'll get that bit and drill this out, and then we have to drill 3 more holes. So we're gonna have 6 bolts on each side. Put a little dab of tap magic in there. All right, we have all our holes drilled. This template is amazing, and I just can't believe he sent the drill bits with it too. Like, I don't know, that's kind of above and beyond. So we've got our 6 holes now, so we can undo the template and put our spring hanger on. Also, I did not paint these. These came powder coated. Alright guys, that was super easy. I can't wipe the smile off my face because that was so easy. That took all of about 30 minutes. So I'm going to get the other side mounted up, and then we're going to do the rear spring hangers. Now the rear hanger is even easier. All 6 of these holes were already in the hanger. I didn't drill any new holes. This is where it was before. You can see it lines up here, 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 and here. So what we have to do, we're going to move it back right there, so these 2 line up. So we're going to bolt that in. Okay, we've got that bolted in there, and then all we have to do is drill these 2 new holes. So we're not going to use this hole. I suppose you could trim this bracket so this doesn't stick up if that's something that bothers you, but personally I think I'm going to leave this here, just if for whatever reason I ever needed to move this or something, then I still have that. If I cut it off, I don't have that. So I'm just going to leave it there. It's not harming anything, so let's drill these new holes. There we go, we got our 2 new holes. So I'm actually going to unbolt this and repaint this bracket. And while that dries, I'll go do the other side. Then we'll bolt this up and hang the springs up. So while that paint's drying, I'm going to look at using the rear Chevy shackles instead of my stock first gen ones. Let's take some measurements and see if that'll work. So the stock first gen ones are about 2 7/8 wide, and they are 4 inches eye to eye, so 4 inches tall. Now the Chevy ones are 4.5 eye to eye, so just barely longer, which in my case is not a good thing because we're not doing a reverse shackle on this, and so I'll lose a little lift, but 1/2 inch, that's really going to be negligible. And then the width of the bushing is 3 inches, but the sleeve has about 1/8 of an inch on each side that comes out. So I think what I'm going to do is just get my flap disc and grind this down 1/8 of an inch on each side, and then that'll fit, and we'll use the Chevy shackles because they're in really good shape. The bushings are in really good shape. I don't want to use the old crusty ones and have to get new bushings for it, so this is going to work just fine. Alright, that was easy enough. Just shaved a little bit off and now it's at 2 7/8. Okay, we have our front hangers on. We have our rear hangers on. Got everything torqued down to as tight as I could torque it down. Got them on both sides. Let's put the springs on. So because I did the extra 4 inches of arch, essentially it shortened the distance from eye to eye of the spring. So what I'm running into is this shackle, it'll go back in here, but then it hits up here. Now this is not a flaw in the Archive Garage product. That product is meant for the stock 64-inch Chevy spring. So this is something I'm gonna have to figure out. All right, guys, we did it. It actually wasn't that bad. So this issue back here with this shackle is kind of a non-issue. I just needed to load the frame down a little bit, and then I was able to get the bolt in. It's all tightened down. It's almost touching now. Not quite. That's the furthest it'll lean forward because it's always going to have more load than just the bare frame. We're going to have the bed on it. It's always going to have more load. I just put about 25% of my body weight on it and that shackle comes right up. So it worked good. I put the 2.5-inch blocks in for now. I don't know if those are the ones we're going to go with yet, but we got it. That was, again, this product is awesome. Came with everything you need. I am super impressed. So there she is. We've got the rear springs in. So I know a lot of you guys are wondering, why am I going with these Chevy 64-inch springs? The number one reason is the ride quality. A longer spring tends to ride smoother and softer because it has more room for shock absorption. The other thing is, we've talked in previous videos, we need a lot of lift on the rear. And when you're running a stock Dodge spring 52 inches or so and you arch them way up, that just rides even worse on a shorter spring. So this longer spring is going to help it ride better. A lot of people mentioned that I should do a shackle flip on the rear here to get some of the lift in the rear. Here's why I'm not going to run a shackle flip. When you run a shackle flip, basically you put a new bracket on and it hangs the shackle down this way. Here you can see the bottom of the bracket, and then the shackle goes up to the eye of the leaf spring. Shackle flip does the opposite. Bracket here, you have the shackle goes down, and then the eye of the leaf spring about right here. The thing that does, when you bring the eye of the leaf spring from this position down to this position, it actually rotates your axle counterclockwise, if we're looking at it from this direction, and changes your pinion angle to where it's elevated more. It's pointed up more, and that can mess with your drive lines, with other things, but changing that pinion angle gets kind of involved. And so I don't want to do that. I'm going to run the normal shackle, no shackle flip, and that is why. So next video, we're going to be measuring to see what block size we need. We're going to get some U-bolts for it. We're going to start doing stuff that needs to go in the frame. Brake lines, fuel tank, fuel lines, wiring harness. We got to get everything done in the frame. So I hope you guys enjoyed that video. We will see you guys in the next one.